At time of recording this, it's the first part of November, so Christmas is just around the corner. And so I thought I would do a little theme project based on the theme of Christmas and these two little boxes that I picked up from Graphic 45. These are called Craft Board Altered Art Rented Lips Altered Art Box. And it says with magnetic closure, including a 4-panel accordion fold craft album. So that sounds good. There is a picture on the back. I haven't taken this out of the package yet, but you can see this is the way it's laid out. There's the album, and the box opens up like this, and there's a little window inside, which I'm assuming is for maybe like a picture. And then I also bought this at the same time called the Altered Art Matchbook box, featuring a sliding drawer. And it doesn't have really a picture of it, but I'm assuming by the looks of things on the end, this piece slides out of there, and it's got two little windows on top here that you could put pictures in. Now, there doesn't seem to be an album included in this one. So I went to the dollar store, as you can see, and I picked up a whole bunch of Christmas theme elements, ribbons and things like that. Plus I have a whole bunch of Christmas scrap papers and Christmas stickers and things like that in my stash. So I'm going to go through all these things and put something together. At this point, I'm not really sure what I'm going to put together, but I know one thing. I want it to be a Christmas theme, and get the glare off of that. And I want to use these boxes. Now, I am thinking of wrapping these boxes up in some collage papers. I might take some of Mike Deacon's Christmas printables that I own and print them on deli paper and use it like a tissue paper and wrap these boxes up. I am thinking of mounting one box on top of the other, and so that this box would be accessible. I might put a little mini album inside of this, and I make it look like a Christmas gift that might come under a tree, on Christmas Day, something like that. But I'm not sure how this part will open up if I do that. So I've got to experiment here. So these are the ideas that I have. What it's going to turn into, I don't know. You'll just have to stay tuned and see. Okay. So I have both of these boxes, and I've been thinking about how I can use both of these together and still make the box accessible. I have these little cutouts here in the top of this box, which I guess the idea is on this flap you would put something that you could see through these, and then it opens up, and in here is a little accordion fold booklet. And there's lots of real estate here for putting other decorations and things like that. And then this little box just slides out. Now I may have to put a little wax or something on the edges of this because it's kind of stiff, but you have this opening in the top here, so you have to put something over that as well. But what I'm thinking of is if I glue these two together like this, make it look like stacked Christmas presents, you're not going to be able to open the box very well with it. But, and I got this idea from this has a little magnetic catch to it. I could mount a couple of magnets, maybe one at each corner, so this piece would become magnetic, and then to open up the box you just take this piece off. That would give you access to the little drawer, and it would allow you to open this little part up. On top of that, I could use this as a platform for putting more things on top to make it look like sort of a 3D little wintry scene kind of a thing. These are the ideas I have in my head right now. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to concentrate on just getting the magnets on this little box and on here, which if they hold all right, then when I cover the box, the magnets will be covered up as well. That's my theory. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I've got the basic boxes covered now in some preliminary Christmas paper and some bows on it. And you'll notice this is what I've done. This is what it looks like, probably from the front this way. This box on top is not glued down. I put magnets on it. So the magnets hold it in place. And As you can see, I put this little pine cone, it's a little embellishment from Tim Holtz, and I put it through the drawer of the box, glued it in with Gorilla Glue, and now it acts as a little pole for this little drawer. So my idea is that there'll be a little mini album inside of this little drawer, and of course when you want to open up the main box, you just take that off the top and open this up. Now I haven't done anything in the interior of the box yet, but I will. You remember there was a couple of holes here that were in the top. Well, I filled those in. I put little pieces of chipboard cut to the same size as those holes inside, and then put a piece of cardstock over that, and then I've got this decorative piece on the top here. And I'm going to do more decorative pieces in here, and the little album eventually will get done as well. Now, on the edges of the box, I went around with some of the archive coffee, I think it's called, Rangers Archival ink, and the ribbon is all down here. It looks like a continuous piece, but I've set it up so that, as you can see inside, where it hangs over. Now these are going to get covered up when I put paper over top of that. And there is a bit of a magnet in here as well that keeps that closed. That came with the box. So right now I'm thinking it looks pretty nifty. Oops. There we go. It's stuck on there now. Those are fairly heavy magnets, so it won't just fall off when there's something in it. And my idea next is to work more on the interior, but also I'm going to do more things to the exterior on here. I'm not absolutely sure what I'm going to do yet, but I want to do something that'll look like a centerpiece, maybe a little tree. I've got a reindeer head, something like that, to give this a little bit more height for one thing and make it stand out a little bit more. And then I want to do some decorations of some sort on the packaging here to make it look more like a actual Christmas gift, actually a stacked Christmas gift. So we'll see how that goes. So now it's time to decorate the inside of the box. And when I say decorate it, I mean putting down the base papers. So I'm going to open it up here, and this is what I'm talking about. I want to cover up all of these exposed areas. And for this, I have already pre-cut my sheets of Christmas cardstock, and I've already put on the back of them the two-sided tape. And so all I'm going to do is just take off the protective backing and start decorating the box. Now I did this off camera because I don't think you want to watch me cut paper. And hopefully I have cut all of these pieces so they should fit right in where they're supposed to go. So this part, these next few pieces are the inside of this box, and I think I'm going to have to tip the box up. And I know you can't see this, but trust me, I'm tipping it up so I can line up the pieces. Now I'm not getting too particular about how straight these pieces are inside the box. I mean, I'm trying to keep them as straight as possible, but it is rather awkward angle for this, and there will be a little album inside of here, and that will, you know, kind of cover up any little minor errors. I could have done this with wet glue as well, which would have given me a little bit more wiggle room, but I decided to, for this project, to use the double-sided tape, and I'm using a very good double-sided tape. I'm not using the stuff you buy at the dollar store. I've never had any luck with that. I spend the money on, well, this one's going to be really awkward. Let's see if I can get at it this way. I spend the money on the decent tape because I find that it holds. The tape you buy at the dollar store has a tendency to dry up very quickly and drop off, and we don't want that. So I've just about got the inside of this box done. I did debate whether or not I was going to actually do the inside of the box, because I thought, well, you know, who's going to really see it? But when you open it up, I think it just gives it a very nice finished look. Try to show this to you. So that's the inside of the box done. Now, the outside of the box, I have pre-cut my strips and make sure I get the right ones. I think these are the ones I cut for. Yeah, these are the ones that I cut for the edges here. I've already done the outside here. And you may notice that I'm using my pokey tool, my paper piercing tool, to pull the tape off, because I don't have any nails, and I just find that works a lot easier. Again, I'm just eyeballing these pieces because, you know, close is good enough. Because I don't think anybody's really going to examine this that closely. Okay, so I've got the outsides all done, and now I have to do these two little parts. And again, I've got my pre-cut. Make sure these are the right ones. Yes, they are. These should be a little easier to lay down, since this part of the box is a little bit more accessible. And I've left a little, I've cut these down just slightly smaller than the space they're going in to act like a border. And I am going to go around the edges of all of these with my ink. And I did this to all of these pieces as well before I glued them down. And I think I just glued that on. Yeah, that was not good. Okay. I'm going to have to put more tape on this one because, hope this one's okay. If that one's okay, how come I had a problem? I think I need to shave a little bit off the edge. Well, maybe I don't. No, I have to put some more tape on this, because what was happening was it was going over this gutter and it wasn't allowing me to close the book, and that's not good. So no problem, I just tore it off, and I did tear up some of the paper on here, but that's okay because this is going to cover that up, no problem. Now, if I had used a wet glue, I would have had some wiggle time in there. So one advantage of that, but then again, I'd have to wait for it to dry too, wouldn't I? So, you know, it's a bit of a trade-off. Okay, let's see if we can get this in the proper spot this time. Still got a little problem. I probably should have cut this down more, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and score it into the edge of the box. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to have to do probably cut another piece and cut this down a little bit smaller, so you don't need to watch that. I'll be back in a second. Okay, I fixed the problem. I had to shave off a little bit, just a small sliver off the edge of this, and retape it. and put it in, and now my lid shuts fine. Okay, I just got these two pieces to put on. And just the last one on this side. Okay, so I've got the inside of the box all decorated. Let's get these out of our way. And all I'm going to do is take some more of the archival ink that I've been using on the edges of the papers on here, and I'm just going to go around the edges of the box, just crunching it up a little bit, give it that antiqued look. And there we go. Maybe a little bit more down here. And that's looking pretty good. So I have the outside and the inside of the box done with the basic papers. Now comes the embellishing, and I think I'm going to start the embellishing on the inside of the boxes first. Not this one so much, because I've already done, I did not do the sides of this one just because it's a very awkward space. I could do that, but I don't think I'll bother. I'm just going to leave it as it is. So what I'm talking about next, oh, I just realized something. I forgot to cut a piece for here. So I need a piece for there. So I will do that, and I'll come back in a second. So I've covered that one spot that I missed before, but I found this paper that was a naughty but nice list, nice boys and girls address region, and I thought that might look kind of nice sitting here on this box on the top instead of just a piece of this kind of paper. So now I have the box. Ooh, I see a problem. I did not think of this before. I guess the magnet that they've included in here is not strong enough to go through that paper. So I am going to have to see if I can put another magnet on here, because I don't want it this way. I mean, yeah, I want that to be able to seal that down. So I'm going to fix that problem and show you what I do for it in a moment. Okay, I've fixed the problem with the door or the box lid not shutting the way it should with a couple of magnets. I've glued them on with Gorilla Glue, and they're not quite dry yet, so I don't want to open this up. So I'm just going to set this aside to let it dry. And in the meantime, I'm going to start figuring out how I'm going to decorate this part of the album box to make it look a little bit more festive than it is now. And that's what we'll be doing next. So now what I want to do is embellish this little box that sits on top of the big box, and I want to make this a focal point of the whole whole album. So I've got these items here that I've pulled out from my stash of Christmas elements that I bought at the dollar store, and I'm thinking of making this very much a focal point. So I have this big thing here, this little church or chapel kind of deal, which you might think, well, isn't that a little large? Yeah, it is large, but I want this to really stand out. And then I have these glittery bows, and I've got these little Christmas boxes and these little Christmas drums. And I'm going to see what I can create with all of these, which means I'll need to audition some of these pieces on here to see how it works. So I'm going to start by just moving these things out of the way, and I'm going to cut the tag off of this element. And I'm going to start with this, and I think I'm going to put it sort of, let's see, this is going to sit on an angle like that, and I think I'm going to put that on an angle just like that. See it better this way, I suppose. And then I'm going to take some of these Christmas ornaments. Let's get them out here. Those and the little Christmas drums. It's amazing the things you can buy at the dollar store, isn't it? I think I picked up all of these at the Dollar Tree. And let's put those to the side for now. So I'm thinking, you know, oops, that's upside down. Maybe put one there. One in behind here. A gold one here. Maybe one of these little, try some, I like the blue. I'll put, not sure if there's a right way or wrong way on those. Maybe one over there. And I don't care if they go off the edge, and actually they're going to cover up my top of my box a little bit, but that's all right. Do I want to lay one in sort of on its side? Too much, do you think? Actually, I don't think it's too much. I think that might be enough right now. I know you're having a difficult time seeing this when it's over top of here, but this is the only way I can do it at the moment. Now I have these bows, so I'm thinking there's little bows already on these little boxes. But I'm thinking maybe, I think I'll get rid of, let's see, that's, just twist that up a little tighter. It seems to hold that little bead in the center. I'm just going to cut off the tail. Maybe a bow there. I'm liking this, maybe not to everybody's taste. Maybe you think it's making it look a little junky. I don't. I think it makes it stand out. Bow there. Okay, I'm liking it, and I'm wondering if I should glue some of these along the side as well. And I'm thinking, yes, I should. Yeah, I kind of like it, but what I think I want to do is see how it would look on top of the box. So I'll just carefully, oops, not careful enough. Okay, having a little trouble with this. This may be a glue gun project. Just like that, and then these would go I'm just auditioning everything again here. I'm knocking them all over, but I am kind of liking this. One on top. And I'll be back. There goes my phone. Okay, where was I? Making this little mountain of things here. Yeah, I'm liking this. I know you can't see it very well, but I am kind of liking this. It's kind of like a mountain of toys. And let's see. Some more of my little drums. Now my whole idea here is that these will all be stuck to that little box. So they'll all come off together on the box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and change my camera angle so you can see what I'm doing here.
Okay, here is what I've got so far. And you know, I'm really liking it. Yes, there's a lot of stuff on here, but I put it on a little turntable so I can turn it around so you can get a look at it. I may add a few more little bows here and there to it as well. But as I said, my idea is that these pieces are all attached to the little box on top. So basically the little box on top, because it's on there with magnets, will just pop off with all of these intact. So I'm going to have to glue them down well. So I think I'll use my glue gun for this. But I'm kind of liking this. Yeah, so I'm going to glue them all down. Okay, so here we are. I have everything glued on now, and I'll just turn it around so you can see it a little better. And you see that I added a few things to the larger box underneath the smaller one. So right now, you basically don't realize that this is an album box, the way it's all laid out here. I think it looks pretty good. It might be a little over, let's get it in focus here, a little over the top because there's quite a few things on this, but the top box does come off, and then you can open up this part underneath. I'm trying to do this with one hand while I'm holding my camera, and it's not easy. Well, you know, you've seen this before. Okay, that opens up. Those stay right where they are, and then of course you can open this one up from the little knob that's there, and then when you're done you put the albums back in the box and it all sits up there. And so this becomes more than just a box to carry the albums in, it's also a decorative Christmas piece as well. Now the next stage of this is to start doing the embellishing inside the box and making the albums.
Okay, as you can see, I've opened up the box because I'm now going to work on the inside flaps. I'm going to save the album that goes in here for the next segment. But now what I'm going to do is concentrate on the side pieces and what's going to go into them. And I've done some pre-cutting here out of some various paper packs. And what I need to do now is go around the edges of each of these pieces with some distress ink, and then glue down the various bits of things. So I'm creating pockets on both sides of these, and in the pocket there'll be a little booklet, and that's what these pieces, once they're together, will be. And I've done some pre-assembly here, the little booklet. I just used some of the paper from my stash of Christmas papers, found some other drawing paper basically, and I thought I'd leave this blank. All I did was I put little stamped a little green star down the corner of each page, but it's meant to be just a little journal. I may put a ribbon along the side of this. I don't know yet. We'll see how well it fits in, but this will fit right into the pocket. And also in the pocket there will be a tag on the outside, and there's going to be a tag on the inside. So I'm going to put a little border piece down here and stuff a little tag in there. So there'll be quite a lot of things going on, and I've got to be aware of the fact that I got to keep this fairly thin because it won't close if I make it too thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this spot up a little bit so I have some room to work and show you what I'm going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is work on the two pockets, one for either side of the gift box. And I've got out my archival ink, and this is what I've been using throughout this project, so I think I'll continue doing so. It's coffee brown, and I just want to age each of these pieces. So this is actually going to be the pocket here. So we'll just go around the edges. I'm not trying to get it too dark, it's just being subtle. And then I have a piece that I want to put down here along the edge, and I pre-cut these to the right size. So I just need to darken up the edges. Now this ink pad is a little bit on the dry side. I was going to refresh it and I didn't. So see, this will get attached there. Then I have not these pieces are for the inside of the box, so I'll just put those aside there. Then I have this little tag, which could be used to mount a picture or do some journaling on the back of it. Now I'm just wondering, see, this is going to go in here, and I'm just wondering if I should back it or not. Would make it a little bit firmer, and if I put a neutral color on the back, this is one for the other side, same thing as on there. Maybe I should back these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go off, I'm going to back this, I'm going to finish darkening these pieces, and I'll show you my assembly. Okay, so I'm ready to start adding my elements to the inside of this box. So I'm just going to move this over here out of the way for a second. And what I've already done is I have gone around all the edges of all my pieces with the coffee archival ink, and I did mount this little card onto a piece of cardstock, and you can see it's just a plain sort of a off-white or a tan sort of cardstock went around the edges. So the idea here is someone could put a picture here, someone could do some writing here if they wished. This will be my pocket piece, and this is a piece that goes on the top of this. Now, I've already started to put some of my double-sided tape on my elements here. I have forgot to put it on this pocket, so I'm going to grab that right now and do it. And I'm just going to use double-sided tape for this whole project. So I'm putting a piece just up here at the top, very close to the edge, and then one along the bottom. And that's all I think I'll put on here because I want the pocket to open up. I'm just going to varnish that with my bone folder. And you'll notice that I'm putting, and this is this side over here, I'm putting one over on this side, and my other one, which is right here, is going to go on this side. But I did it this way instead of inwards. I did it outwards because I have this magnet sitting here. And I thought of putting some of the paper on top of the magnet, but it's going to look like something's not stuck down if I did that. So I'm just leaving it there. I was debating whether or not I should put some decoration on this or not, but I don't think I will. I think I will just leave it as it is. So make sure I put the tape on the right side of this, meaning the side that's going to show. I'm going to put the tape on the opposite side. And there we are. Varnish. Now, just before I put the pocket down, I'm going to put this little piece is going to go down here, and I just realized I did something wrong. This was supposed to be a little pocket. So if I do this, it's not going to be a little pocket. I'm going to need to take off this one strip. Now, you're going to say, well, how are you going to get that off? I could cut another piece, but I have one of these little erasers that removes glue. Just cut the corner off. They get a little dirty and you have to cut the dirty pieces off. And all you do is just rub this along here and it should roll up sticky without any problem. And it is doing that. So this saves you having to cut another piece. If you make a mistake, you see it just rolls it right up. And you can get these at any art store. Probably get them at Michael's as well. So that means now I need, I'm going to need a little bit of double-sided tape on each end of this. So, yep, you think you're ahead by working ahead. You find out you make a mistake. Well, that's not unusual for me. Okay. So what I'm going to do is assemble one of these flaps, and then I'll assemble the other one off camera because it's done exactly in the same way, so you don't need to watch me do that. So this is going to go right down here. There we are. Now I notice that I'm a little over the edge here. So I'm just going to trim that. Okay. Now I'll take this off the back of this. And this piece should fit right in here. And there we have it. Okay, then I have the tag, or the little card journaling piece. It's just going to get tucked right in there. And sometimes if you find your pockets are a little tight, just take your bone folder or something flat, spatula or something, just gently give it a little bit of a stretch. And then everything will fit in very nicely. Okay, so that side is done. I'm going to go off camera and do the other side, and then I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, so there we have our two pockets with our little journaling cards, if you want to call them that, tucked in there. So now it's time, just move this over to the side a bit, to work on our two little mini journal books, or whatever you want to call them. So I've already put my two-sided tape on this, so this piece is going to go here, and I cut this out purposely so it says Merry Christmas on it. This little piece is going to go up here at the top, just down a little bit. Maybe move that up, but no, I think I'll put that flush. This, yeah, that'll go flush too. And then this is a tag, and it's going to get tucked right into this pocket, just like this. So there's a lot of real estate here. Now, I did not back these because these are on heavier cardstock, and somebody could just add a piece of paper if they want to write on this, or they can write right across that. I think it's light enough, or put a picture on it again. I also put in an eyelet in here, a reinforced eyelet, so that when I put the ribbon through it, it won't pull through the card. So I've already got these. I put the double-sided tape on these, as I already said. So again, I'm going to build one of these, and then I'll go off camera and build the other one, and then I'll show you what the end product is, because what I do to this one, I'm doing to the other one exactly the same. And I'm just going to stretch that. Oh, I did the same thing again. Ha ha ha. Get it up quick. Yeah. I hope I can pull this up. I'm an idiot. Okay, didn't do any damage, so that's good. Okay, get out my trusty eraser. You'd think I would learn. So let's get the right side. So I want it off of here. See, this eraser is a godsend. Just rolls that sticky tape right up. Okay. So, where's my tape? You'd think I'd learn, wouldn't you? Okay, so we need a little piece of tape this side. Now, there can be a bit of a problem with your double-sided tape when you're making pockets, in that, unlike glue, things can, if this isn't varnished down well enough, can get stuck underneath these edges. I don't really worry about that too much because I think I have them varnished down good enough. They tend to be all right, but it can happen. And if you want to avoid that all completely, use a wet glue. But then you've got your drying time, right? So as I said, varnish it well so things can't get underneath it. Do I know something? I think I still got a problem. I think there's still a little sticky residue on that. Yeah, there was. Okay. Once again, pulling it off. Now, it did tear right here. You know, I could edit this out so you'd think it was perfect, but I forgot. I put 3 pieces of tape on here. Bright boy, not. But I'm showing you what can happen, because if I've made this mistake, other people can make this mistake, and it's not the end of the world. You can, you know, worst case scenario, I could have cut another piece. I think I've got enough sticky on here that I'm okay. Well, maybe not on this edge. How did I miss that edge? That's very weird. Okay, I'm losing it. Not really, but you know, it happens. Okay, let's put this down. New piece. Varnish. Concentrate. Okay. We should be okay this time. Let us hope, because if I have to rip this off one more time, I may have to redo a brand new piece. Because it's only so many times you can keep ripping it off. That's better. Okay. So, this piece is going on the top. I'm okay on this one because it's not a pocket. Pull off my tape. I used two widths of tape to fit on this. I used 1/4 inch and 1/8 of an inch. So that's why it's always good to have a variety of sizes. I always have 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, and 1/8 of an inch in my double-sided tapes. And I think I may have to trim just a hair off. Where to go? Right here. Down here on this edge. Okay. So, this tag is going to go in here, but I want to put in a ribbon, so I pre-cut some wired ribbon. I don't know if this is going to be too big. I'm just going to fold it over. See if I can get it through that hole. I may have to go with a little thinner. Okay. It is a little, no, I don't want to do that. I was going to say I can cut it in half, but then I'll lose the little edges. So let's just persevere here for a second. I'll just twist that up. There we go. And we're through. Now we can untwist it. And I'm just going to open it up. Not doing anything fancy here. Just pass the ends through. And this is why I wanted to, oh, I'm not having a good thing on this one. I just ripped it. Okay. I'm going to have to make another one of these. I will be. Okay, so I'm back. I fixed the problem, so I cut a new one of these cards out. These are pre-made cards. I think you can see that from one of my Christmas packs of paper. Put a new eyelet in, and this time I used a much thinner ribbon. So that's what I get for, well, size matters, right? So that just gets tucked right in there, and then this is going to go on this side, and it's going to get tucked right into this. Right there, fits down, and that goes in here, and hopefully this is going to secure. Okay, that side works. So now I have to work on the booklet for this side. So I'm going to do that off camera and come back and show you the end result. And I think I'm going to work on here too as well. And just as a preview, there will be a strip of this. This will be on top of here. Oh, let's do it, shall we? Let's just do it. I've already got the tape on here, so I'll just show you what I have in mind. I'm just trying to break up this area in here. So I'm eyeballing it for centering it. Get back in the shot. And then I created this little strip that's going to go right down the middle of that. It was just to add a little bit more interest to the box when you open it up. So and I noticed that this part up here at the top, I'm going to flip it around. Again, I don't measure well. Might be a little long. I'm just going to snip off a little piece of it. There we go. And that fixes that. So there, I've got that part in there. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side, and I'm going to finish the little booklet that goes in here, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm out of the shot. There you go. Okay, today is just not my day. I ran into another problem that I had not anticipated. So I'm going to show you what I've done. I've changed my plan a little bit. So instead of having the little booklets tucked in here, I made them as separate, and I made a third one. So there are 3 little booklets that sit in here. Now, this box originally came with that accordion fold album type thing, and that's what I was going to use. But because of what I'm about to tell you, this is what's going in place of that. So those 3 little booklets in there, which isn't such a bad idea, because one could be for journaling, one could be for Christmas pictures, one could be for whatever, you know, grandma, the grandkids, whatever in there. So what I did here on the sides then was I took the long tag that I was going to have in this pocket at the front, it's the same on both sides, and I tucked it in behind here, and I cut out 2 smaller little pieces from one of those cut apart packs, and I darkened the edges and everything and tucked those in there. Now, why did I do that? Because when I shut the box, 2 things happened. One, the magnets would not connect. It was too thick in here to do that. Now, I did look in my stash for like hinges and things that I thought I could put on the side of it, but I didn't find anything that was really going to work. So that's why I decided, okay, the best way to make this work is to make this less thick, so the booklets are now in here in the box. The other thing that happened was, you know, I was talking about my 2-sided tape and going on about how great that is. Well, it wasn't. The 2-sided tape pulled apart. It may have been the weight of the little booklets in it that were doing it, but that was no good. So I pulled them off, these pieces that make the pockets, and used my Gorilla Glue. Those suckers are not coming off. Okay, so I have the inside of the box all done, and it does shut just as it's supposed to. And I can put my little topper on, a little fluffing here, and there we go. That part of it is all done. Now, what is left to do? I don't think that's sitting quite right. There we go. Now what I want to do is, no, I don't have it set up. I got it backwards. Here we go. That's better. It's sitting where it's supposed to. Yeah, it is. Okay. So you remember I have this little drawer. Everything's sticking. I got to put a little bit more wax on this. It's still sticking. In this little drawer, I'm going to put a little accordion fold album in there. And I'm thinking maybe, maybe not. I could cut it out of this right size, flip it in there, and decorate that. And that might be exactly what I'm going to do. So, waste not, want not. So that will be in the next segment. So the last part is to build a little album that'll fit in this drawer that goes on the top part of the Christmas box. And I told you before that with the correction that I made to the box, I had that accordion fold album that came with it left over. So what I did was I just cut it down because I like the paper, it's nice and strong, and made it into a small little booklet that'll drop right down in here into the drawer. You also notice I put a little thingy on the bottom so that when someone pulls the book out, they've got this nice little Christmas message sitting there. So when I put this together, it's just very small. I did bind it, well, I stitched the seam together, very simple, with some wax thread. So now I'm ready to dress it up, and what I did was I cut my pieces of cardstock, Christmas cardstock, the right size for here, leaving about 1/8 of an inch of a border all the way around. I have taken each one of these pieces and I have darkened the edges using some oxide, or not the oxide, the coffee archive ink like I used on all the other pieces throughout this box. And now I just need to mount these onto each page. Now I did create a little cover page for this, and another one of those cut aparts, just cut it out, went around it with the coffee ink, and there was these little sticky pieces that came with a set, and I just found this little tag piece and I thought I'd just put it there on the side just to make it a little bit more interesting. I have, except for this one, always something, eh? I have already pre-taped each one of these to go on here, and I have them in the order that I want them to appear in the booklet. So all I need to do is just grab my double-sided, as I knock things on the floor, double-sided tape, and put a couple of pieces on here that I had forgot to do beforehand, but then you get to see me tape it again, so big thrill. Not. Now let's put that away, and let's get a bone folder and just varnish that, and then pull the tape off, and mount it onto the first page, or the cover. Okay, I did go around the edges of this little booklet as well with the ink. So now all I have to do is just cover each page. And that's all I'm going to do in this little booklet. The idea is this is just something a little extra that whoever has this will be able to put in whatever they want. Again, it could be for small pictures, there could be some journaling, whatever they think would be appropriate for this. That's the beauty of making these little booklets, allowing people to customize them the way they see fit. I think this would make a very interesting Christmas gift. Definitely something unique. There are not two of them in the world the same. And if you make something like this, yours is going to be very different from mine, I am sure, and that is perfectly all right. I do these to inspire you and show you how you can take something that basically was very plain, relatively inexpensive, and make it your own. Now, you could go to the dollar store and buy yourself, right, especially at this time of the year, around the Christmas time of the year, you can find lots of little boxes for $1 or $2 that you could dress up in a similar fashion. You don't need to spend a mint on this kind of thing. And I'm sure if you're a crafter, you have lots and lots of Christmas related elements in your stash which you can use for this. So it doesn't need to cost a lot, but it's going to look like it did when you're finished. Okay, so that'll drop in there. Now I'm thinking I should have a little bow around this. So let me grab my scissors and go to my ribbon. I always have ribbon. I'm not the world's best bow maker. If you are, then feel free to be fancy. Just fluff that out a little bit. And I'm just going to leave it off to the side so you can see the words. And this drops right down inside of that. And that goes inside of the top piece. There we have it. And then the top piece goes on top of the box, just like so. And we are done. Our little Christmas box serves now as not only a keepsake album holder, but also as a festive Christmas decoration that you could put on an end table or coffee table or on your mantle or wherever. So I hope you enjoyed this series on putting together this Christmas album box, and we'll see what we'll be making next time.